So me and the man, we was hanging out in our own chambers watching the Sony. Yeah, and the man likes to sit in a big parlor room and watch the old boxy RCA because those pastel colors, it's like they only got three colors. It's like red, green, and blue or something. Red, green, and yellow. I forget something. They only got three colors to mix. Whereas if you want to watch something in all its vivid reality, we'll go into our own chambers and we'll watch it on our Sony. Well, we were going to watch some sports, but lo and behold, that sporting event was canceled due to something. I'm not even exactly sure. I don't know if it got canceled over somebody acting in an unwoke manner, or if it was canceled because somebody went on strike, or if it was canceled because, some of these sports that get canceled because there's only so much interest, whether you're talking about professional Frisbee golf, or professional hatchet throwing, or professional lawn darts. It's like sumo wrestling, it waxes and wanes. Anyways, this big event, we got some popcorn, we had some beers, we're getting ready. So he's flipping through the channels, and you know what he finds. He finds an old, eerie, strange Johnny Depp movie. Now, in this movie, Johnny, I couldn't tell if he was working. We came through it about halfway through or something. But in this movie, Johnny was it was growing towards dusk, and Johnny had some chore he had to go do on a golf course. And I didn't know if Johnny in the movie, he worked on a golf course like the assistant superintendent, or maybe he was a member of the golf course. He could have been, in this thing, he could have been the owner's son. He looked like he was about 35 years old. I think he was playing like a 28-year-old, so I couldn't tell what his role actually was. He had some kind of chore to go out and do around this pond. It wound up that there was this beautiful scene where a couple of geese flew straight down overhead. Everything was bright and cheery. The water fountain was working in the pond. I didn't know if he was fishing in something that had died, or he was trying to kill a snapping turtle, or he was putting some weed killer in the pond. These two geese go swooshing on by, and then all of a sudden, in the movie, it was broad daylight. It was like deep, deep dusk. It was almost dark. And Johnny starts walking, and, all of a sudden, he's on a golf cart driving. It had a very dreamy quality to it. Like, whoa, I thought Johnny was walking. Now all of a sudden he's driving on a golf cart. It's just about pitch black dark. And up ahead he sees these three kids walking. They look to be about 18, 19, 20 years old. Just three, decently dressed white boys. Nothing special. They look like they come from good families or whatever. But Johnny, in the movie, he had a sense of impending doom. He knew right away something was weird. Something was off about these boys. Why were these boys walking out on the golf course in the dark? Were they up to no good? Are they just hanging out on the golf course up after dark? Well, they kind of start speeding up their pace to try to get to Johnny, to catch up to Johnny. So Johnny's like, I got to get out of here. He starts trying to go as fast as he can on the golf cart. But again, it had this dreamy quality. The golf cart was like spinning its wheels. The golf cart really couldn't make any time. These kids, they're just walking, but they're catching up to Johnny on the golf cart. Johnny's like, holy crap, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't get away from him. And the kids are just about caught up to him, and one of them pulls out a pistol. And Johnny, without them even saying anything, Johnny knew that it was a robbery situation. Well, that golf cart speds up just at that point, and he drives up towards the maintenance shop. And these kids are running after him. And it was just really a strange thing where Johnny, he beat him to the maintenance shop. He parks his cart. He starts winding his way through the maintenance shop, go out the other side through the cart barn where they keep the carts for the members. And these kids are almost on top of him. Johnny starts yelling to some of the other staff that was lingering, holy crap, there's a robbery situation going to happen. There's three kids chasing me. One of them's got a pistol. And a couple of the other workers, they kind of join Johnny, and the three of them kind of panic. and they start trying to figure out how they're going to get out of there. They kind of corner themselves in a portion of the maintenance building where they shouldn't have run into, where they were kind of trapped, and they start beating on some old windows, trying to break the paint seal so they could open up some windows and jump out a couple windows. Meanwhile, these kids, they're closing in on them. They finally bust a window open. Johnny and these two other maintenance workers, they jump out the window, but the strange thing was, as they jump out that window, there's this kind of a night shift gathering at some picnic tables. There's like about 8 or 9 guys that got their lunch boxes, and they don't seem to be bothered by these other 3 guys. And I didn't understand why Johnny and the other 2 maintenance guys, they were so petrified. But then this night crew, and I didn't know if they were part of the maintenance or if they were some kind of a different business that was fixed or adhered to the golf course. But they're just sitting out there starting to, it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock or something. They're just starting to eat their lunch. They're on some kind of a swing shift. And they're not even a little bit concerned about Johnny and the other 2 guys screaming about, call the cops, we're being chased by some punks with a pistol. They couldn't care less. It was as if it wasn't going to happen to them. And I didn't understand what the point of that was. Was it that they were trying to say, like, gun violence sweeps some up, but most people, they're not shot? You know, even in some horrible mall shooting, it's only a tiny small fraction of people get shot. How unlucky are those people that get shot? You know, if there's a few thousand people in a mall and 15 of them get shot, that's a horrifying tragedy, but it's only 15 out of a couple thousand. So those 15, gosh, they're so unlucky. They were the ones who got chosen to be killed. And I don't even know if that was it. Or is it the indifference to gun violence? I couldn't tell, is it making the point that, even though some people are going to get shot, we should all care about that. Unless they kill one of our kids or something, we don't care. It's just not that big of a deal to us. But these guys, they were breaking out their tuna fish sandwiches and their ring dings and their Pringles and their Pepsis, and they were just eating their lunches. And finally, them kids come bursting around the corner. Johnny and the other 2 guys, they go racing off. And that one kid starts shooting at him with the pistol, tell him to come back, I guess so he could rob him. And them other guys sitting around the picnic tables eating their lunch, they never batted an eye. Johnny and the other 2 guys, they kind of race off onto another part of the golf course. The kids jump in a golf cart, and now they're trying to find Johnny and the other 2 guys. And finally, Johnny and the other 2 guys, they double back to the maintenance building. The kids are out there on the golf course tooling around on a golf cart, and Johnny calls the cops. Finally, they make it to a phone. Johnny calls the cops, and the sheriff shows up. Meanwhile, them guys eating their lunch again. They don't bat an eye. They're completely indifferent to the whole thing. And the kids, they go barreling by. When the cops get there, they go barreling by. And the cops didn't even seem like they were really that concerned with those kids. They eventually ran those kids down. The kids busted out through the golf course and got on the highway on the golf cart. And the sheriff in his SUV tracked them right down. He arrested them. He brought them back. But in the movie, it seemed like nobody was really that concerned. And Johnny's saying, hey, man, they took pot shots at us. They fired that gun. Aren't you that concerned? And the cops are like, geez, we caught him. They'll probably get a slap on the wrist. Nobody really cared except for poor Johnny and these other 2 nondescript guys that you never even really get a good close look at. And I didn't understand the whole eerie nature of this movie. I didn't understand what it meant. But Johnny was just dumbfounded. It was like Johnny was in one kind of reality, and there was a couple guys that joined him. But the whole rest of the world, the whole rest of existence, they were in another reality. And the 2 realities didn't jive. And Johnny was just like a lost soul. He was perplexed. He didn't know what was going on. And the whole movie just kind of comes to an end. It just kind of, I don't even know if it faded to black I thought it must have gone to commercial, but the movie was over. They start rolling the credits. It was a very, very strange, eerie Johnny Depp movie. And the man, I wanted him to figure it out. I wanted him to tell me. I was like, hey, what in the hell is the meaning of that? But he had dozed off, and he didn't even know what was going on. I just sat there perplexed myself. At some point, I felt, I'm just an idiotic, stupid dog, but I felt just as perplexed and nonplussed, or whatever you call it, as nonplussed as Johnny appeared to be in the movie. So, whatever. It doesn't matter.